Oh man, we've literally all been there, right? The in-laws are just pulling into the driveway for dinner, and then you hear it, that ominous, gurgling sound coming from the bathroom. And then, horror of horrors, the water starts coming up instead of going down. It is just a moment of pure, universal dread. Look, a blocked drain isn't just frustrating. It triggers this immediate, full-blown panic about what on earth to do next. But don't worry, today's explainer is going to completely transform that moment of chaos into a clear, stress-reducing triage system. We're basing this directly on expert plumbing guidelines, so you'll know exactly how to handle the situation without losing your mind.
Is this a real plumbing emergency? Yup, that is the exact panicked question running through your head when a fixture suddenly fails. And you know what? It's a completely valid reaction. You're suddenly on the spot, forced to make a quick, high-stakes decision. Do you pick up the phone and gladly pay triple the rate for a 2 a.m. emergency call-out? Or can the whole shebang safely wait for the morning sun? Making the wrong call here? Well, it can cost you an unnecessary, massive emergency fee. Or, far worse, it could lead to thousands of dollars in hidden structural damage. So we really need a framework.
All right, so here's the triage framework we'll be using today. 1. When drains go wrong. 2. Signs of a true emergency. 3. Urgent but contained issues. 4. When to just wait. And 5. Steps to take right now.
Okay, starting off with Section 1. When drains go wrong. We really need to understand the stakes here.
Basically, a blocked drain usually triggers one of three major risks. We're talking safety hazards, massive property damage, or contaminated water. And listen, when black water, which is just the industry term for raw sewage, when that goes where it absolutely shouldn't, it doesn't just sit there politely. It actively destroys floors, walls, electrical systems, insulation, you name it. So the stakes here, they're intensely structural but also highly hygienic.
Moving on to Section 2, signs of a true emergency, and exactly when you need to call someone immediately.
When it's a real crisis, the red flags are crystal clear. First up, sewage backup or foul odors. If toilet waste is literally entering your sinks, showers, or tubs, that's bad. Bacterial contamination spreads super fast, and mold can start creeping in within just 24 to 48 hours. Second red flag, standing water or flooding inside your basement or utility rooms. Any pooling water around fixtures that just will not drain needs urgent attention before it completely wrecks your drywall. And third, a total blockage where multiple fixtures start failing all at once.
Seriously, just imagine your kitchen sink and your bathroom tub backing up at the exact same time. It's a nightmare, right? But what it actually means is that there's a massive systemic failure in your home's plumbing. This is what we call a mainline obstruction. It's way more serious than just an isolated, annoying clog. It means your entire drainage system is essentially paralyzed, which requires some very fast professional intervention to fix.
That brings us to Section 3, urgent but contained issues. These are serious, but thankfully not a flood.
You know, hidden threats can honestly be just as dangerous as the visible floods we just talked about. Let's look at leaks near utilities, for example. Even a tiny bit of dampness creeping near a breaker box, an electrical outlet, your HVAC, or a gas line, that creates an immediate, serious shock hazard, and it severely accelerates corrosion. You have to treat that as highly urgent. Similarly, think about worsening slow drainage. If backups are happening after literally every single flush or shower you take, that is a ticking clock, rapidly progressing toward a full-blown system blockage.
Okay, Section 4, when to just wait. Let's talk about the non-emergencies.
So let's contrast a complete mainline blockage with just a single slow draining sink. A complete blockage that affects multiple fixtures all at once, that's chaotic. It's widespread. But if it's just one sink that's stubbornly taken its sweet time to empty out and the rest of the house is totally fine with zero backups or flooding, well, that's just an inconvenience. It is definitely not a midnight crisis.
Meaning, you can actually sleep soundly. Minor clogs that don't involve any sort of sewage contamination usually do not require you to call for after-hours service. In fact, a lot of times, a professional can just tell you over the phone during normal business hours if some basic drain clearing will do the trick. By properly diagnosing this as a non-emergency, congratulations, you just saved yourself a massive, frankly painful, emergency call-out fee.
Which leads us nicely into Section 5, steps to take right now. Let's get into your action plan.
So whether you've already called for help or you're holding off until morning, here is your strict first responder protocol. Step 1, reduce your water usage immediately and completely avoid using the affected fixtures. Just don't touch them. Step 2, lock down the area.
You really need to keep pets and family members far, far away from any suspected sewage or bacteria. And step 3, ventilate the area, but only where it's actually safe to do so. Once everything is secured, a professional team can come in later, properly assess the blockage, and check for any hidden underlying pipe damage.
Honestly, if you only take away one golden rule from the source material in today's explainer, it should absolutely be this. When you're unsure, prioritize risk. If there's sewage, flooding, or signs of a larger obstruction, contact an emergency drain service to protect health and property. Choosing the right response time truly can be the difference between a manageable, routine little clog and a massively expensive, hazardous cleanup operation. So when in doubt, remember that protecting your health and your property is always, always the ultimate tiebreaker.
So I'm going to leave you with this question to chew on. Are you actually prepared to triage your next plumbing emergency? Because, hey, you now have the framework to look right past that initial panic, objectively assess the real risks of safety, property damage, and contamination, and make the smartest, most cost-effective decision possible. Keep this mental checklist super handy. That way, the next time a drain starts to gurgle, you can ditch the panic, protect your wallet, and know exactly what you're doing. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.